In.
Right here is the Admiral Lee, one of the offshore towing vessels we have. It's 3,000 horsepower tug. It's got cork nozzles on it. The winch is a 150-ton intercom winch. It's probably 6 years old, a good winch. And the boat, the hull itself was built in '72 by Bollinger Shipyard. Had put a real good boat together. Those people really know how to build an offshore boat. It's a solid tug. Does well in the oil field. We pull anchors with it. We move offshore construction barges. It's an economical boat. It's not too big. It's not too small. We get quite a bit of utilization out of it. This right here is the engine room to the Admiral. The 150 winch, the intercom winch, it's got a 671 with a torque converter to run the winch. Good winch, good setup. It's old school stuff, but some of that old school stuff lasts forever. These are a good package. Air ducts to vent the engine rooms. Down here is the engine room where we're going into. Like I said earlier, this boat was put together back in 1972 for the Lee family, and they put a real good package together. These cats are old cats, 398 cats, and they got 5-to-1 clutches on them, and I think not quite sure what the bolly pull was on it, but they had a poly pull done on it a while back. I'll get that information later. The 398 cats are a good setup, good size engines for these boats. These are 471 40 generators. Again, they're old school, old Jimmy Detroits. They've been in here as long as the boat been in here. You know, they are a good combination, a good setup for the size boat it is. We have 2 of them, likewise, boat with air starters. Good gems. This is a manifold system where we use to ballast the boat, transfer fuel, take on fuel, and ballast the boat where we need to ballast, either pump it out or pump it or get it heavy. When you're under tow and you're out at sea, you need to get your boat heavy down in the water. And these are the ballast system that we use to fill the tanks that we want to get it to sit deep in the water. This is how we transfer fuel and water. This is a galley room. This is a boat that's capable of sleeping 5 people, and we normally have 4 out on a crew when we're out doing a tow job. And this is where they cook, and you can see they have to put a little guardrails around the pots when you get in the sea, so while you're cooking, your food don't come falling off the thing. Everything's got latches on it, all the little doors, because in rough seas, you tend to get all your stuff bobbling around. So everything has latches. You got to fasten it down. When you're working in maybe 10, 12 foot seas, it gets rough out there. And then we have this is the galley. We have also one of the bunk room down here. This is a 3-man quarter up here, and then we have the captain's room upstairs, which is another double bunk. We keep sometimes a couple of beds. We keep spare parts, and always got to have spare parts. You go out in the sea, nothing like a spare part. It looks kind of small, but compared to regular boats, this is kind of roomy. It's not bad at all. Some people would consider this small, but I think it's roomy for a boat. We have another quarter here, which is the captain's quarter. That's It's actually a 6-man bunk, 6-bunk boat. I thought it was 5. This is the captain's room. He's got his own little bunk himself, so when the boss always wants his own place, that's just how that deal works. This is the wheelhouse. This is where you drive. These days and time, this is the old school. This is where they used to have the wheels, how they steer the boat, but today they also use this to steer. All of the new boats use these hydraulic steerings. This pretty much doesn't even exist no more on any of the new boats. It was old school boat and still could be steered with the steering. You know, people just went to this. It's a lot easier and it works well. And they got steering rudder indicator. This thing here will tell you the direction of your rudders in, whether it's turned all the way to the port, back to the starboard. This little line gives you the indicator of the direction your rudder's in. These are your throttles, clutches for reverse, forward. And it's been a good boat. We've owned it for 5 years now, and if this market don't pick it up, we hope to keep it another 5 years. And this is some of the nav equipment that we have up, VHFs. We have EIS, identification system, which the Coast Guard requires you to have these days. We have here the VHFs, depth finders, intercom to talk through the boat and safety features. And we also have a low rain furnace. That right there is a furnace navigation system. It helps you navigate in the fog. When you're completely blind out there, this thing will show you your to and from your boundary banks and all your distances for the things you approach and what's coming to you and around you. Good thing for foggy weather. This particular boat is used in the oil field for offshore construction. The everyday use of it would consist of a 250-foot long by 70 by 18-foot barge. Is considered a standard offshore deck barge, and that's what they use for construction out, putting platforms in, laying pipeline, and this barge this boat was pretty much works with a barge that size when it's out in the Gulf. And also it's an anchor handling boat, where if it would go out with a pipe laying barge, it can handle the anchors. It would put all sets of anchors to spread out and work with a pipe laying barge likewise. Unfortunately right now the market's depressed really bad. You know, we're doing what we can to hang on to the boats, you know. We hope next year 2012 is a lot better. But this is the utilization of the boat, oil field construction. Or the intercom winch right here, 150-ton winch. We have a little doghouse where they can operate the boat and they operate the winch. All the controls for the winch is in the doghouse. He'll flip a switch in the cabin, and then now he'll have controls in his doghouse to run anchors, which the wire then goes right through here, through these big sets of rollers, and we can pull anchors. You can see the trough right here where your cable will go down and then it's in some rollers. The guy being in the wheelhouse couldn't see as good as what he's doing, so they'll come and operate the boat from the doghouse right here. And that'll give him full control and full visibility of what's happening, what's going on. When you start running anchors, it's a pretty dangerous job. I mean, they have to use a pole like this to catch that little snatch cable there to pick up the buoys. And then they pick up the cable, the snatch cable, then they grab the buoy. Once this buoy is fastened to the anchor, then the anchor comes up also. They'll move it with these winches.